accueillir à la Médiathèque du Fonds municipal d'art contemporain de la Ville de Genève pour cette journée internationale des Musées. À cette occasion, on vous propose deux performances. La première de Darren Roshier et la deuxième à 17h d'un groupe d'étudiants musicales et de Christian Palais, qui se déroulera également dans cette espèce. Et concernant juste cette première intervention de Darren, j'aimerais juste vous annoncer un petit changement. Comme on l'a dit dans le programme juste ici, Darren est artiste, mais c'est plutôt avec un regard d'historien de l'art qu'il propose une conférence aujourd'hui sur la pièce de Robert Filliou, l'histoire chuchotée de l'art. Voilà. Merci pour votre présence, et puis je vous demanderai juste d'éteindre votre téléphone portable.
Alors je vais donner l'exemple. Je vais le mettre en mode avion aussi. Okay, thank you, Bénédicte. So can you hear me well? Is it okay, the sound? Yeah? You comfortable? Yes. Okay, so even if I won't be doing a performance but a conference, I will do it in English as it's written in the program, because maybe some of you are only English speakers. So today I would like to share with you this discovery I made when I was working on a whispered art history, a piece from Robert Filliou. I don't know if everybody here knows about this poem. A Whispered Art History is a poem by Robert Filliou, a French artist. There's 12th chapter in this poem, as you can see it in this book, Teaching and Learning as Performing Arts, and there's 12 chapters to this poem normally. Well, when I was doing all my researches on Filliou and on this poem, I made this crazy discovery. Apparently, there's a 13th chapter. I found a recording of a 13th chapter. There's a 13th hidden chapter of this poem. Let's listen to it.
In 54 years, the 21st of May, to be precise, a man will be in front of you. Who that man will be is not important. He will die soon, but that is alive. I mean, let's keep names out of this. On this 21st of May, in 54 years, at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a man will be in front of you. He will be talking about life, about art, wearing this mask of sedia, insisting on the year 2327, trying to make a permanent whispered art history. You do, maybe, you want a permanent creation. Maybe you're wondering why you're here. Is it worth coming to see art? You're wondering what happened. Perhaps what happened is not important. But it is important that it happened.
Anyway, the 21st goes into the 22nd, then the 23rd, then the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, the 30th, the 31st of May. This time goes by.
So, as the recording just said, we've been listening to the 13th chapter of A Whispered Art History, a piece of Robert Filliou. As I was telling you, everybody thinks there's 12th chapter to this poem. Each chapter refers to a month. So, the first chapter refers to January, the second to February, the third to March, etc., etc. Which means this 13th chapter refers to the 13th month, the future. By the way, it's what Filliou says at the beginning of this 13th chapter.
In 54 years, the 21st of May, to be precise.
So this poem was written in 1963. So if we do just a little mathematics, 1963 plus 54, we arrive to 2017. The 21st of May, to be precise, it's today. So today, the 21st of May 2017, I will try to explain to you this weird discovery, the 13th chapter of Robert Filliou's Whispered Art History. And before talking about this specific 13th chapter, maybe we should learn a little more about Robert Filliou.
Who that man was is not important. He's dead, but art is alive. I mean, let's keep names out of this.
So we can find these 3 sentences in each chapter of a Whispered Art History. But unfortunately, for this specific conference, I can't keep names out of it, because it's really important to appreciate properly a Whispered Art History. You have to go through several concepts related to Filliou's practice and life. About Filliou's life philosophy, to be precise. Normally in academic contexts like here in the FMAC, it's quite a big word to talk about life philosophy. You know, it sounds a little kitsch, you're not really allowed to do that normally, but like if you Google it and you check a few quotes, you have a lot of beautiful quotes like this one from Lewis Carroll. It's not use going back to yesterday, because I was a different person then. Well, for today's conference, this quote doesn't really fit, because it's useful going back yesterday, because Filliou wrote this poem in 1963, yesterday. So we have to go back there. Maybe we can check another quote. This one from Dale Renton. When what you hear and what you see don't match, trust your eyes. Well, this quote doesn't really work either in this context, because this poem is more something to hear than something to see. So maybe we'll find just a last quote that will fit. This one from Arthur Schopenhauer. Life is a constant process of dying. This quote is maybe closer to what we're searching for. It's closer to a Whispered Art History. In chapter 12, Robert Filliou says this.
Who that man was is not important. He will die soon, but art is alive.
He will die soon, but art is alive. We can then understand there's a special relationship between art and life in Filliou's philosophy. That's why I allowed myself to talk about life philosophy. Anyway, let's listen to this incredible quote from Filliou. I remind you, we were talking about quote of Robert Filliou. So it's a kind of summary of his way of seeing life and art. So brace yourselves, really brace yourself, because this quote is really amazing. It really changed my relationship to art when I heard it for the first time. So really, brace yourselves.
Art is what makes life more interesting than art.
Did you understand it? It's really crazy. Well, we can wait. Listen one more time.
Art is what makes life more interesting than art.
It's really crazy. Every time I listen to this quote, I feel really, it's amazing.
Art is what makes life more interesting than art.
I like it so much I wrote it for you, like that you can have it under your eyes for the whole conference. So then what does it mean? What does it mean art is what makes life more interesting than art? Well, I understand it like being a vector, like art being a vector to have a better life and then make it more interesting than art. And that is really important. It means art is not a finality, it's not autotelic. It puts art in a reality, when art is no longer an abstract, weird thing, but art becomes part of our lives. Art is here not for art is here for life, for your lives, for my life, etc. Art is then useful to empower lives, a vector to improve our lives. Let's take a few examples, because I understand it's quite complicated. So I will start with a first example, a project I did a few years ago. So I changed my signature into artist in capital letters. So what's really this project? It's for me a way of questioning the status of an artist and the status of the artist's signature. You know, we often say that the signature is really important and gives the aura to the piece of art. Well, what happens if the signature becomes a generic stamp or just saying artist? But then, how did this project exist? I mean, how does it exist in reality? Well, it does exist when I have to sign a contract, like with the FMAC, for instance, for art, for more general stuff in life. And then the people for whom I signed the contract are surprised with this signature and then ask themselves the value of an artist's signature, etc. And this example tells us exactly this.
Art is what makes life more interesting than art.
Because then the piece of art, the signature, is not really interesting out of life. It's interesting to have it in life as a piece of art. And then the moment of life I live with the people I have to sign the contract with, well, our life is improved by this piece of art. And it becomes more interesting than this piece of art, the signature. So this piece of art, this signature, is a vector to improve my life, to make it more interesting than art, and to make the people's life more interesting than art. We can also take another concrete example. This moment we are living together. So we're here in the FMAC, living a moment of art. So I know you came to listen to a performance, it's finally more a conference, but let's say we are living a moment of art. And in this sentence, there's the word living. And that's the most interesting thing in this sentence. We are living something together. And what we are doing, art, is just here to make this moment of life we're living together more interesting. That's why we are here, art. Is it clear for everybody? I mean, if there was no art right now, if we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be living this moment of art, so we couldn't be living this moment of life together that make us realize that life, this moment of life precisely, is more interesting than why we're living this moment, art. And that's what this quote says. This conference is a vector to improve our lives. I hope it's really clear for everybody, because it's really important to understand art is what makes life more interesting than art, to really understand Filliou's philosophy of life and art. So now we understand, when we talk about Filliou, we can't dissociate art and life. One last time, just for the pleasure.
Art is what makes life more interesting than art.
So all that means that this moment of art in our lives is a kind of vector to have a life more interesting than art. But then now we've understood, is it okay the sound like that? Yes, you can hear me? Now we understand art is what makes life more interesting than art. We should understand what is art for Filliou. Because, I mean, life is quite easy to define, but art is something else. So, to define art and creation, Filliou developed this really amazing principle, the principle of equivalence. You have it here. Whoa. So what does it mean, the principle of equivalence? It means that if something is well made, badly made, or not made, it's not the same, it's not the principle of equality, it's the principle of equivalence. So well made, badly made, and not made is equivalent. Imagine what it does to the value of things, to the value of doing something in your lives. If you do something well, it's equivalent to if you do it badly, or if even you do it not. It's really crazy. For instance, what I'm doing right now, this conference, well, I'm trying to make it well made. But I could decide also it's badly made, which doesn't change anything really, because maybe some of you consider it's badly made, which is not a problem. Maybe this conference interests you, maybe not. Maybe it's well made, maybe it's badly made, maybe it's not made. We could also consider it's not made, which is the case because it's a question of point of view. I mean, on Earth there's 7.347 billion people living. So for these 7.347 billion people, minus, I think, how many are we, like 20 in this room? So for 7.347 billion people minus 20 people, this conference is not made. We could even try to make it not made for us. Well, it's quite complicated to do nothing. Well, it's impossible, in fact. What I just did here was equivalent to what I'm doing right now, this conference. Anyway, what happens if you consider equivalent everything you do? Well, it guarantees, according to Robert Filliou, a permanent creation. So this principle of equivalence guarantees a permanent creation. A permanent creation of everybody. I mean, if art, it can be well made, badly made, or not made, everything becomes art. You talking to your son is art, maybe. You taking a photo is art. You filming is art. You hitting your mouth with your two hands is art. Everything could become art. We are creating all the time. Me here talking could be also maybe art. That's why I said we were living an art moment together. So Filliou did this really beautiful sculpture about the principle of equivalence. It's different kind of way of showing a sock, a red sock. It's sometimes well made, sometimes badly made, sometimes not made, not shown. Anyway, if we zoom in this image, we discover all these little objects, and eye bolts and hook screws. Well, these different type of screws, these ones, there are a certain sense Filliou's plastic signature. It's quite poetic. Filliou used to define them as cedillas, you know, what you have under the sea, cedillas. It's interesting because it tells a lot about the way Filliou worked as an artist in terms of production. We know Filliou was a really poor artist. I mean, he didn't have a lot of money and needed to wait a long time before having a little recognition and make a little more money from his work. But anyway, Filliou wasn't a bling-bling artist. He just takes stuff, poor material, sometimes even from the street, and then create artistic propositions. Yes, because another interesting thing about Robert Filliou is that he doesn't talk about artwork, masterpiece, or stuff like that. He just talks about artistic propositions. In this example, well, it's just wooden box, socks, and cedillas to relate them together. The cedillas are just used to relate stuff. He used them in really a lot, that's why I told you it was his plastic signature. He used them in a lot of different artistic proposition, and they are always here just to connect objects and connect things together. Connecting things together, a bit like I try to connect you today with Filliou's philosophy. Before we come back to the 13th chapter, because yes, I remind you it's a talk about this 13th chapter of a whispered art history, we just have to go through one last thing of Robert Filliou. The concept of la fête est permanente, which is a way of celebrating the permanent creation. We were talking, which is a way of celebrating the permanent creation we were talking about a few minutes ago. He then decided to announce that the art birthday was on the 17th of January. Well, the 17th of January is his personal birthday, but anyway, it's also the art birthday according to Robert Filliou. So the first time we celebrated the art anniversary was in 1963. But according to Filliou, it started 1 million years ago, but in this poem, it's what he says, that it was first celebrated in 1963. The aim of this idea is that this birthday grows every year. So In 1964, the art anniversary is a 2-day celebration, from the 17th to the 18th of January. In 1965, it's a 3-day celebration, from the 17th to the 19th. In 1966, it's a 4-day celebration, from the 17th to the 20th, etc., etc., etc. Which meant that this year, in 2017, the art birthday goes from the 17th of January to the 12th of March. And if we want to wait until the whole year will be a celebration, we will have to wait in 2327. And then the art anniversary would be from the 17th of January to the 16th of January. It's quite a long way away, but imagine a year where every day is a celebration. Every day is a celebration of art, a celebration of creation, or a celebration of life. That would be really, really crazy. All these considerations are quite symptomatic of Robert Filliou. It's at the same time very conceptual and at the same time very poetic. He finds the right balance between these two things. He's able to bring a solid concept based on the principle of equivalence that brings the permanent creation, that brings la fête permanente, and all that because art is what makes life more interesting than art. And that's why he's such an amazing and incredible artist for me. I think now we have all these, we understood all these different elements of Robert Filliou. Is it clear for everybody, all these concepts we saw? Yes? Okay, so now we can maybe just listen to chapter 1 from A Whispered Art History.
It all started the 17th of January, 1 million years ago. A man took a dry sponge and dropped it into a bucket full of water. Who that man was is not important. He's dead, but art is alive. I mean, let's keep names out of this. As I was saying, at about 10 o'clock, the 17th of January, 1 million years ago, a man sat alone by the side of a running stream. He thought to himself, where do streams run to and why? Meaning, why do they run? Or why do they run where they run? That sort of thing. Personally, once I observed a baker at work, then a blacksmith and a shoemaker at work, and I noticed that the use of water was essential to their work. But perhaps what I have noticed is not important.
Anyway, the 17th goes into the 18th, then the 19th, then the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, the 30th, the 31st of January, thus time goes by.
Who that man was is not important. He will die soon, but art is alive. Let's keep names out of this. And perhaps what this man noticed is not important. First times goes by. All of these sentences comes in every chapter. They structure each of them. And then comes other stories about people doing something, doing art. Each chapter is a different story. But all these different stories are just important in the fact they are stories. People are doing something. That is the important thing. Who these people are is not important. What they are doing is not important. People are doing something. This is important. Again, it's at the same time really poetic and really conceptual. This poem is in a certain sense the whole summary of Filliou's art and life. And at the conclusion in chapter 12, it's incredible. I will just want to share that with you. We just listened to the end of chapter 12.
Please keep in mind that the 17th of December is followed by the 18th, then the 19th, then the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, the 25th of December. That on the 25th of December, Jesus was born. Or so the Christians say. The Jews deny it. The Muslims are of two minds about it. The Buddhists don't care, nor do the communists and the atheists. As for the artists, well, what the artists believe is another story.
You've been listening to A Whispered Art History, an art lecture by Robert Filliou, a French fluxus artist and intermedial artist who writes and does intermedial artwork in France and elsewhere. This tape was recorded and produced by Ondina Fiore for the New Wilderness Foundation in New York.
Not trying to conclude alone is important. Well, what the artists believe is another story. This 13th chapter is then just a way of not concluding alone. A way of giving to this poem a permanent aspect. A way of continuing to make life more interesting than art.
In 54 years, the 21st of May, to be precise, a man will be in front of you. Who that man will be is not important. He will die soon, but that is alive. I mean, let's keep names out of this. On this 21st of May, in 54 years, at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a man will be in front of you. He will be talking about life, about art, wearing this mask of sedia, insisting on the year 2327, trying to make a permanent whispered art history. You do, maybe, you want a permanent creation. Maybe you're wondering why you're here. Is it worth coming to see art? You were wondering what happened. Perhaps what happened is not important, but it is important that it happened.
Anyway, the 21st goes into the 22nd, then the 23rd, then the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, the 30th, the 31st of May. This time goes by.
Thank you.